Hi, you guys. I am coming to you from my bedroom today because the boys are doing schoolwork in other parts of the house. And a lot of times, this is the quietest room in the house. So I'm hiding out in here today with you guys. I just want to spend a couple minutes with you guys just talking for a little bit through some verses. I had seen a meme. I've seen a meme quite a few times on Facebook talking about if Noah and the animals can do it for 40 days, so can we. And though I love a good biblical meme that's positive, I kind of wanted to share some truth with you guys. Noah wasn't on the boat for 40 days and nights. He was on the boat for a whole lot longer than 40 days and nights. The story of Noah starts in Genesis 6 and goes through Genesis 9. And we're going to talk about just a couple of the verses in there and just hit on a couple topics and see where we can find some encouragement still in the midst of learning that it was not 40 days and nights. At the end of 7, it says, the waters flooded the earth for 150 days. Yeah. The waters fell for 40 days and nights, but the waters flooded for a whole lot longer, 150 days. Then it says, the waters receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the waters had gone down. On the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. I probably said that wrong. I am so sorry. If you know the right way to say it, feel free to share that with me. I'm going to butcher words sometimes. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window that he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove could find nowhere to perch because there was water over all the surface of the earth, so it returned to Noah in the ark. He waited 7 more days and sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there was in its beak a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again. But this time, the dove did not return. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, yeah, they lived a lot longer back then, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. So most commentaries think that they were on the boat closer to 364 days. So pretty far from 40, quite a bit longer, actually. And let me say, as somebody who lived in 224 square feet of camper space, family of 5 plus a mastiff, 364 days is a long time. That's about how long we were in the camper. A little bit longer, actually. We were in the camper when we were building this house. So it's safe to say that Noah and his family were the king and queens of self-quarantining, right? I'm sure that there were moments of just feeling overwhelmed. You have to wonder, what in the world did they do with their days? I mean, I know they had the animals to tend to, but we have a few animals here on the farm. We have pigs, goats, chickens, dogs, cats, and they take up a little bit of our time in the morning and the evenings, but we still have quite a bit of time during the day, free time. It's supposed to be schoolwork time, which they better be doing right now or else. Anyways, rabbit hole. And so I often wonder what they did like all day long. What did they do for 364 days alone on a boat? Could you imagine like looking out the windows of the ark and just seeing nothing but water surrounding you? No other life. There's not a cruise ship floating by that you can wave at or somebody fishing on the dock. It's just you in a sea of nothingness. How overwhelming that must have felt at times. Couldn't help but think about life right now with the pandemic. I mean, it feels like a flood sometimes, right? Those waters are just rising of stress and fear, of uncertainty. We look out and we don't know what the future holds, much like Noah and his family. looking out, not seeing a thing, not knowing what was coming next, but just knowing where their hope was and where their trust was. And their trust was in God. And that's where our trust has to be during this time. Whether this self-quarantining, self-distancing, whatever you want to call it, whether the pandemic lasts 40 days, 364 days, or longer, we have to know where our hope is found. And we can know that our trust and our hope is found in Jesus. We can know that he is that steady, steady force. He is our boat. He is our lifeboat in times of trouble. And though the storm may be falling right now, and it's scary, the floodwaters are rising, we are safe in his arms. We are safe in the boat that is God, who is watching over us. When we live for him, we know that he carries us and he will see us through this. I think it's such a neat time in our history to be able to slow down. You know, Noah and his family were forced to on the boat. There wasn't much else to do but take care of the animals and talk to God and each other. What a neat picture for us, right? With the gyms and the movie theaters and the amusement parks and the regular parks and all those things and activities, our kids' sports and our own activities canceled right now, an inability to go. We have quite a bit of time to press into God and press into our families. Are we using that time wisely? I promise you, Noah didn't have Xbox and Netflix and a Hulu. There were no distractions. There was just time. And they made the best of it. They had to have to survive that long. I mean, it says they all came off the boat, so we know that nobody killed each other. There were probably moments that they wanted to. I think there's moments that we all want to when we're in quarantine with our loved ones for any amount of time, right? And it's in those moments, though, that we grow. It's in those moments that we learn each other. It's in those moments that we know how to deal with each other and that we press into God and we ask him to make us more like him, because more like us isn't working. During this time, no matter how long it lasts, I want to remind you that if Noah can do it, we can do it too. We really can. He has equipped us. He goes before us. He is with us. And though in his word, it says, when I walk through deep waters, I will not be overcome. And we're walking through some deep waters right now, some of us, right? It's uncertain. It's scary. But we know who goes before, so we know who goes with us. So during this time, I encourage you to lean in, to press into God. We have so much time. We have plenty of time. Spend some time in prayer. Talk to him. Tell him your fears. Tell him what you're thankful for. Tell him your hopes. Let him talk to you. Let him tell you what he wants for you. And spend time with your family. Enjoy them, even when they're driving you nuts. Play a board game. You know, just hug on, love each other. Instead of being upset about all the things we can't do, maybe we be grateful for the opportunity to have this time in history, this time in life, to just become the family again. The family within our walls, the body of Christ, that we reach out to those through live streaming, through text message and phone calls. Maybe we write some letters. Maybe we do some snail mail. Maybe bring that back and just encourage each other. You know, it's such a neat opportunity for us to be the body of Christ, for us to be the church. I miss worshiping with believers in a building, but I am so encouraged when I see stories of things that people are doing in their homes that are ways that they're growing in their families and they're growing in their walks with Christ. And so I encourage you to keep those up. Let's keep each other laughing and each other smiling, each other encouraged through this. And remember that if Noah can do it, you know what? We can too.